It's driven by the press that manufacturing is on its way out. It's dead. It's gone. Don't go there. We are heavy manufacturing. The bulk of our work is cutting, bending, welding, making chips, painting, assembly. We do cranes, we do railroads, we do oil exploration, we do medical devices. We are a hardcore manufacturer. The world is changing, and 20 years ago it was very in vogue to move product offshore because the unit price to buy those products was substantially cheaper. Well, people have learned that unit price isn't the only thing that matters. When you look at logistics costs, supply chain costs, there's all kinds of things that factor into that. And the truth is that in China, wages are going up like a rocket, 30% in some cases each year. Well, that's leveling the playing field. The other thing is that logistics costs with the price of oil are becoming more expensive. So when you look at producing, we do a lot of large products. When you look at producing large products in China and shipping them here, it's excruciatingly expensive, and it takes months to build the product and get it here. And companies are nimble today. They don't, months is not in their timetable. At OEM, we like to say, when can you get this? And look at your watch. Now, don't look at the calendar. And that's true of commerce today. Things are moving faster and faster. So competition is more than just price. And yet, oftentimes we win on price. And the reason we win on price is because we have really great people that have the ability to figure out better, faster, cheaper ways of not only producing the product, but delivering the product, keeping the customer's inventory down, shortening up the supply chain so they can ramp up and ramp down very quickly, so it mitigates their risk. So American manufacturers, when you look at companies like John Deere has moved a lot of their production back to the United States. One of the most interesting cases was when they moved their small compact tractors. They were built in Japan. Very few people knew that. They knew they had a Yanmar engine in them, but they really didn't realize they were built in Japan. Well, when John Deere brought them back here and the relationship between the two companies ended as far as production goes, Yanmar came here and built a 400,000 square foot factory too. Caterpillar is moving stuff back here. Kubota is moving stuff back here. Well, not back here, they're moving stuff here. So there is a very prolific trend right now of moving manufacturing back to the United States. And it's because of productivity, it's because of quality, and it's because of rapid delivery.
What would you say is your favorite part of what you do?
Favorite part of what I do? I do a lot of things. Probably my favorite part is working on the farm. I get to handle new food and I get to handle used food. But is it sinking in yet? What's fun about that is I get to drive machinery. And driving machinery, I mean, that doesn't sound like great fun, but in doing what I do, I work with education. About half of my time is working with education and workforce development. About half of my time is working in OEM, and then the other half of my time is, well, so that's downtime for me. So the favorite thing is probably the thing I don't get to do a lot, and that's not have to think, just go drive equipment and haul manure and make hay. So that's probably my favorite thing. But probably, I think the most productive thing that I think I'm doing is probably not so much working in the company, because we have this incredible team of people that just take care of that. A lot of managers today, they'll get 100 emails a day, or they'll get 50 phone calls a day. When I'm on the road, I have not yet got a call today. Not one. And the reason is because we got great people and they just do it. And so I don't have to worry about that. And so I get to work in education and workforce development. The reason I work there is because many years ago, the constraint to our growth was the pipeline of skilled people, knowledgeable people coming into the company. We couldn't find enough. Well, we've kind of solved that problem. The relationships that we have with UWRF and with the technical colleges and with Stout have filled that pipeline. So we have the ability, but that takes work, and that's a part that I really enjoy as well.
A guy that you talked to in jail, did he go back in, or did he find something else better to do with his life? Do you know?
I have no idea. The two folks that I knew that were in jail got out after 6 months, and they went back to their practice after, I think there was about another 6 months where they weren't allowed to work, but then they ultimately went back. But the guy that I overheard the conversation, I don't know his name, he was just a guy, an inmate that was sitting next to me. So I don't know. It was an interesting question, though. What would make it, what in jail was so much better than his life? Yeah, strange. What does OEM stand for? Well, we used to tease people that says Oscar, Ed, and Mike, but that's not true. It's an acronym for Original Equipment Manufacturer. Our customers are people that build equipment. So we wanted people to think they knew us even though they didn't. And so we picked something that they would recognize, and so we picked OEM because people think they know who we are when in fact they probably never heard of us. It's marketing.
What other things are you doing for the workforce development?
In workforce development, what are we doing? Well, there's all kinds of things. If you're not familiar with what workforce development is defined as, it's the job centers. It's the people that work when there's a plant that's shut down and those people need to be retrained or helped to find new jobs. It's people that are stay-at-home moms that are transitioning into the workforce, working with those folks. And part of it is OEM is working with the Baldwin-Woodville School District and WITC on building an advanced manufacturing track where students, they'll be exposed to manufacturing careers as 8th and 9th graders. In 10th grade, they'll actually start doing classwork that's focused on manufacturing. In their junior year, they will actually start working at OEM 4 to 6 hours a week. And their senior year, 8 to 10 hours a week. And then hopefully when they graduate, they'll stay at OEM, work part-time, 20 hours a week. That qualifies them for tuition reimbursement at OEM. And then they go to their machine tool or their welding or electromechanical program at WITC, and it's all paid. And so when we look at workforce development, we're really starting at a point where we're doing career explorations, and then we work with folks, right up until the point that they can come in and be productive workers. And, one of the challenges for that is, the technical colleges should be a viable choice, but quite frankly, they're kind of a second choice behind the university system. And we really want that not to be the case. We want them to be equal choices. And so one of the things that we're doing to try to engage parents is take the money off the table, make the tuition essentially free. So that's something we're looking at, and that's we pay for a lot of education at the university as well. So many faceted thing, workforce development.
If you were able to go through this journey again, are there any aspects or decisions that you would change in order to affect the success that you're experiencing today?
I would work for a company that shared the values or shared the same objectives as I did. I wouldn't say that I wasted those 6, 7, 8 years working for American Hoist and another company, but they certainly weren't as productive as they could have been. Balance is really important, and I know you'll hear about this from your professors that you need to balance your life. That is really important. Understand that relationships is your support structure, and if you don't have those in place, it's really tough to get through hard times sometimes. So if I had to do it over again, I would have found a company that defined success in the same way that I define success, so that when you achieved it, hopefully, that you could celebrate it and it felt right, instead of when you achieved it, it's like, okay, this just doesn't feel right. So Hope that answers your question. I would not recommend that all of you join the same club, because then it would be just way too big and wieldy. What I would suggest is that you look at community-based organizations or volunteer organizations where they desperately need your help and you have a lot to offer. And oftentimes what you'll find in those organizations is this really interesting mix of people that are very well off that are looking to give back. There are people that are that maybe were helped by that organization, and you get this really interesting cross-section of people. So if you're looking at like the food pantry, if you're looking at United Way here in St. Croix County, those organizations really have a great way to connect with a diverse group of people. So I would say, I mean, there's lots of great clubs on the campus that you can belong to, and you know, kind of test out your leadership wings. But I would really, don't forget the community-based organizations and the charitable organizations in the region, because they desperately need your help. They will welcome you with open arms, and they will probably more readily give you the opportunity to lead projects than in a lot of other organizations. So, thank you. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your attendance.
Mark, I want to thank you for a really great presentation today, and I'm certain that we're all taking things home from this. I'd like to present you with a small token of our appreciation. University of Wisconsin River Falls Wisconsin Credit Union Executive in Residence Program, S. Mark Tyler, President and Founder, OEM Fabricators, Inc., in appreciation, April 3rd, 2012. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is an incredible opportunity. It really made me take a look at myself, which I appreciate. That's, you know, sometimes looking at yourself is hard. Sometimes you make mistakes you don't realize you're making until somebody says, hey, straighten up. But I really appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate your attendance. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks a lot.